Welcome to the Pursuit of Glory. This is a real-life, real-time documentary about a 15-year-old Korean-Australian boy with the dream to become a world boxing champion. Let us see if he can make it to the championship of the world. Before the storm, there is the spark. Before the fight, there is the fire we build within. Every warrior knows you don't just walk into battle cold. You got to ignite the body. You prime the mind. You awaken the spirit. This is the warm-up, not a formality, but a ritual, a sacred preparation. And in boxing, we don't just stretch or jog, we skip. Skipping isn't just child's play, it's a full body ignition. Shoulders roll, wrists flick, the core stabilizes, and the lungs begin to open. But most importantly, the feet come alive. Every bounce, every rhythm, every light tap of the toes against the floor is a message to the legs. Get ready. Because in the ring, footwork is everything. It's the difference between landing a punch and missing one, between staying safe and getting caught. Skipping teaches timing, it teaches balance, it teaches control. It's not just the cardio, it's choreography, a dance of discipline. And as the rope spins faster, the heart rate climbs, sweat begins to bead, muscles loosen, the body stays. I'm here, I'm ready. This is where the lesson truly begins, not with the first punch, but with the first skip. Because champions aren't made in the ring, they're made in the moments before it, when no one's watching, and the only one opponent is your own resistance. Before the first punch is thrown, before the sweat, the speed, the sting of leather on skin, there is stillness, there is breath, there is the center. In martial arts we are taught, power does not begin in the fist, it begins in the spine, the axis of the body, the pillar of balance, rotation, and control. These twists may look simple, but they are sacred. They awaken the obliques, the muscles that coil every punch. They loosen the spine, the bridge between thought and action. This is not just a warm-up, it's a ritual. A reminder that before we strike outward, we must align inward. As a father, I see more than movement. I see intention. I see a boy learning to own his body, not just to fight, but to flow. In boxing, the hips turn before the hook, the spine rotates before the cross, and the mind must center before the storm begins. This is where it starts, not with chaos, but with control. Shadow boxing. In this round, the opponent is invisible, but not imaginary. He exists in every doubt, every session, every flaw, waiting to be corrected. This is shadow boxing, the time when you train with only you, yourself, and your will. The art of confronting oneself, a time where all doors are shut to the outer universe, so one must dwell in their inner universe. A wise man once said, "The most powerful gift we have is our imagination." Every man-made object you see existed in someone's imagination before it existed in reality. So, we must utilize it. One must ponder on this deeply. The boy moves with purpose, not to impress, but to improve, as he has his first sparring session in a real boxing ring at Body Punch Boxing Gym in about 4 weeks' time and counting. In this dungeon, there is no crowd, no cheers, only the shifting of feet and the sound of the boxer's breath. The famous Bruce Lee said, "There is no opponent," because the word "I" does not exist. And soon the silence will break. The boy is scheduled to enter his first sparring session in about 4 weeks' time. The opponent is unknown. The stakes are real. The fear is real, but similar. He has faced it before. In the mirror, in the ring, on the tatami, and in life. And he will face it again. Not to escape it, but to master it. This is not just training. This is transformation, and the journey continues. Jab, fast, sharp, simple, is the first question every boxer must learn to answer. Not with panic, not with fear, but with presence. To defend the jab is to learn the language of combat. It's not just about blocking or slipping, it's about watching, reading, feeling the rhythm of your opponent's intent before it becomes impact. At first, the jab feels like a threat. It comes quick, like lightning. But over time, the boxer learns to see it, not just with his eyes, but with his awareness, his instincts. He begins to notice the shoulder twitch, the weight shift, the breath before the strike. This is where defense begins, not with the hands, but with the mind. The boxer who watches the jab learns patience, he learns timing, he learns trust in his own reactions. Every jab thrown at him is a lesson, a test, a chance to sharpen his instincts, and as he grows, the jab no longer surprises him. It becomes familiar, predictable, manageable. To defend the jab is to step into the fire without getting burnt. It's the art of staying calm in chaos, of seeing clearly when the world blurs. And so, the boxer trains not just to block, but to understand. Not just to react, but to anticipate. Because in this dance of fists, the one who sees first moves last. In this round, the practice of defense begins with a storm. Jab, jab, cross. A classic combination. Fast, direct, and unforgiving. In martial arts, we learn the wise warrior reads the wind before the strike. And in this drill, it's about reading. Not reacting blindly, but seeing clearly. I want the boy to get used to watching these attacks come. And with experience, he will start to recognize. He's not just dodging punches, he's decoding patterns. Learning that every attack has a rhythm, and every rhythm can be broken. This is controlled chaos, a safe storm, because experience should not come at the cost of damage. It should come through awareness. As a father, I know these punches not to hurt, but to teach. I show him that danger can be managed, that fear can be faced without flinching. This round is about defense, but more than that, it's about trust. Trust in his instincts, trust in his training, and trust in the process. One must ponder on this deeply. The boy's going to train not to run from the jab, but counter the jab. The jab arrives like a question mark, fast, sharp, demanding an answer. The boy does not retreat, but steps inside the line of fire, not to escape, but to engage. This is not evasion, this is education. Each slip is a lesson in geometry, in timing, in courage. The boy moves not away from danger, but evades danger. He reads the shoulder, the hip, the breath before the punch. He sees the intention before the impact. And then he answers a jab of his own, clean, centered, assertive, not wild, not angry, just precise. Because the counter is not revenge, it is rhythm, it is balance, it is the echo of awareness. Slip, jab, reset. Again, slip, jab, reset. Slip, jab, reset. That's the rhythm. The repetition ain't boring. It is sacred. It is a ritual of refinement. The boy is not just training his body, he is sharpening his mind. He is learning to trust the moment, to trust the movement, to trust himself. There is no panic here, no flinch, only flow. The jab comes, he slips, he fires, and in that exchange, he becomes something more than a fighter. He becomes a thinker in motion, a strategist in sweat. This is the art of interception, the dance of decision, the proof that defense is not weakness, it is wisdom. One must ponder on this deeply. The boy needs a lot of work, but that is the journey. And this is why we need to do things over and over again, as repetition is the mother of all learning. The boy has been doing judo since he was 5 years old. That's not just training, that's a lot of imprinting. Every curved motion, every flowing grip, every fall and recovery, it's all etched into his muscle memory. Judo doesn't move in straight lines, it contours to the shapes of a human body, because not a single bone in the human body is straight. And that's why his hooks are very powerful, as a judoka has a very strong core due to all that twisting and throwing. The power is already there, but we have to work on technique and accuracy. But that will come with time and practice. But when it comes to straight punches, his trajectory veers on a curve and puts him off balance. The energy launches like a rocket, but it flies off target. It's not a lack of power, it's a lack of calibration. So we must practice and we must refine, because a straight punch should catapult out like a slingshot and retract instantly like a snapback coil. Fast, precise, controlled. And I remind him, power without direction is just noise, but power with accuracy, that's music. One must ponder on this deeply. Boxing is just a physical game of chess, in that the set moves are all there for anyone to use, but it is up to the trainer and the boxer to decide what weapons they use. So it is not like karate, taekwondo and judo, where there is a belt system and a systematic path to mastery, but rather the trainer has to take the boxer through the steps, as they are the ones teaching the weapons. And one of the most effective and famous punch combinations is the jab jab cross, or it can be expressed as jab jab cross, or jab jab cross. So these three strikes, different rhythms, one truth, one purpose. This isn't just training, it's transmission. from father to son, trainer to boxer. Just like Papa Apataya did for Jai, just like Papa De La Hoya did for Oscar, like Papa Trinidad did for Tito, and just like Papa D'Amato did for the young Mike Tyson. This 3-punch combination has damaged many fighters. No matter how well known it is still difficult to defend it as the opponent is lulled into different rhythms. The repetitive rhythm lulls the opponent into a mini trance, and the off rhythm is when the unexpected beat tricks the opponent. One must ponder on this deeply. Tend to the body, tend to the head. This is not just a drill, this is a declaration of conditioning. Every punch to the body is a reminder that strength starts from the core, from the gut, from the place where pain lives and gets turned into power. 10 punches to the head to practice accuracy, to practice shoulder conditioning. This round isn't about looking good, it's about digging deep. It's about conditioning the mind to stay sharp when the lungs burn, to stay focused when the arms scream. This is the first push the boy has experienced in boxing, and now must answer the question his spirit is asking. Can I overcome this pain? Can I continue to the end? 10 punches to the body, 10 punches to the head, again and again. This is uchikomi for boxing, because repetition builds rhythm, rhythm builds resilience, and resilience builds warriors. This is how we train, not for the crowd, not for the cameras, but for the storm, for the moment when everything's on the line and the only thing left is heart. One must ponder on this deeply. Single-legged squats. In boxing, control is everything. A fighter who can control his body can effectively control the pace of the fight. Single-legged squats teach discipline, concentrating on holding steady and balancing to fight that wobble. But moreover, it builds strong legs. Without strong legs, you cannot stand. And if you cannot stand, you cannot fight. Knuckle push-ups. The only part of your body you're allowed to punch your opponent with is the knuckle part of your fist. And the most common bones that get broken in boxing are the metacarpal bones, the bones behind the knuckles. So the knuckle part of your fist and the metacarpals need to be conditioned to be as hard as iron, as these are your weapons. Sit-ups. One of the most famous exercises in boxing is sit-ups, as it is obvious that a boxer needs a strong core for a myriad of reasons. The stomach muscles protect the organs that are targets for the opponent, so it is paramount that a boxer has a strong core, but not just for taking punches, but because a lot of power generated comes from a strong core. So a strong core is not just essential for all boxers, but all athletes.